Where's my? Oh my! This is really loud. I'm sorry. Okay. Let me clear off some stuff here. Put those there. Put this. Excuse me. Okay. So, I opened my vault from last week. I only did a couple of delves, but we did tier 7s, and we got the last piece of the Roots of Reclaiming Blight set. So, yeah, our set's done, like fully done. Although we've had the set bonus for a while. We just finally filled out the transmog, I guess. I don't know. Which I don't even know, like, why that really matters. This is the head. There it is. Okay. It's like if I take this off, right? Do I even have another chest plate? No, I don't. Okay, never mind. Anyway, whatever. Oh shit, I don't think I'm supposed to go through this. I meant to back, but I accidentally. Oh no, I was. Right? Whatever. I'll just go. 2k yards isn't like crazy far.
The pale weave lashers continue to oppress the citizens of the Silken Ward. Show them what happens when they pick on the weak.
There's a bountiful delve right here, but I don't think I have, what's it called? Yeah, I don't have any copper key shards. Um, this quest isn't. It's not meta, right? Like, Delves the Undercube. Yeah, okay. So, if I open the map, this will be right here. But yeah, that door is closed, so. You can take the enchanting profession and turn items into material to craft with, but if you don't want to do that, sell them to a vendor. Okay, well, especially since okay, so what about okay. TBF. I honestly don't even know what TBF means. TBF. What the fuck? To be fair. Player obscure. Alright. No buffs. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can see that. Okay, it is 6 o'clock. Um, hmm. Wednesday is such a hard night to do this. Okay, so I would really like to get a third coffer key before I finish this. So, like, there's hella world quests here, but there's just nothing for the. That's Nightfall. This is usually the one that has it. Okay, so hold on. Let me scroll up in this Discord chat and remember. Oh fuck. Okay, so apparently we are raiding tonight. So, I'm raiding with my uncle in his raid group, and he just sent me this cheat sheet because this is gonna be the first time that I raid outside of LFR. So we're gonna really quickly go over this. Um, and then it's 6 o'clock right now. Raid starts at 9, so I have 3 hours. So I'll probably do this for a little bit. First off, we're gonna read the. Excuse me. We're gonna read this cheat sheet, and then we're gonna play Street Fighter for a little bit, and then I'm gonna get off stream, and then I'm gonna get back on stream. Um, probably with a different title. I'm actually gonna change the title now, if I can. This, because this is the only way that I currently know of to do this. So, view in live control room. Edit. There we go. Wow. Slash SF6. Boom. Easy money. Easy munyan. Alright. Let's read this. All boss cheat sheets. Liberation of Undermine, raid cheat sheets, boss abilities, and strategies. Okay, these Liberation of Undermine boss cheat sheets are designed to cover the crucial abilities and mechanics of each boss, as well as provide relevant strategies to overcome each encounter. For more information about Liberation of Undermine raid, check out our other guides. Okay, we don't currently need that. So this is going to be the first. I'm assuming this is in order. So this is going to be the first boss. Actually, let me check and make sure. I'm just gonna say it like this. Okay. So Liberation of Undermine boss number 1. Oh wait, hold on, never mind. Let me delete that because this literally says boss number 1. So Lust Timer phase 2. I don't really know what that means. Fight style, single target with ads. Okay, so, I mean, realistically, I'm probably going to be playing Keeper the Grove for 90% of this raid. If not 100%, so... I don't know what this means. I really don't know what I'm looking at here. But... Okay, key assignments, motorcycle gang. What is this? How the fuck? Oh, it's down here. I was like, bro, let me out of here. I'm gonna click on this so I can get a little bit of a better guide.
Hey, we pulling?
There we go.
Hey, I'm Zax, and here's our guide to Vexy and the Gear Grinders, the first boss in the new raid, Liberation of Undermine. This guide is brought to you by Wowhead and their raid cheat sheets, which we'll tell you more about right after the boss.
Awesome,
also, big thank you to our supporters on
I'm gonna skip through these ads because I don't give a fuck
he
about
is just
these.
right. Alright, so the boss you fight is this big tank, the Gear Grinder, and Vexy is just riding on top of it, yelling stuff the whole fight. She doesn't actually do anything. The fight has 2 alternating phases. There's a decent amount of AoE to do in both phases, and you'll want a Bloodlust in phase 2. In phase 1, the boss starts out with these plating stacks, and the goal...
So what is lust thing? Hold on, I'm about to ask my uncle this. Okay.
The goal of the phase is to remove all the stacks before the boss reaches.
Okay, sorry. Go back. Why does it keep doing this, bro?
Way to do in both phases, and you'll want a Bloodlust in phase 2. In phase 1, the boss starts out with these plating stacks, and the goal of the phase is to remove all the stacks before the boss reaches full energy and starts doing crazy raid damage. And you do that by killing some biker ads that spawn in waves throughout the fight, and then once they're dead, jumping in their bikes and launching them at the boss. So here's a good—
Oh shit. Okay, that's an important mechanic. So regardless of
throughout the fight, and then once they're dead, damage. And you do that by killing some biker ads.
So he's gonna call, what is this a spell?
With these plating stacks, and the goal of the phase is to remove all the stacks before the boss reaches full energy and starts doing crazy raid damage. And you do that by killing some biker ads that spawn in waves throughout the fight, and then once they're dead.
And then, so I'm assuming, I don't know. So I would probably, for phase 1, I'm probably going to be trying to sit in lunar eclipse. Well, maybe not like immediately. I'll probably go into solar eclipse initially, but in terms of phase 1. Okay, so yeah. So it sounds like I'm going to want to start in solar, or I don't know. I'm gonna want a lunar eclipse for the bikes. That's what I'm trying to get to.
Jumping in their bikes and launching them at the boss.
And then,
so here's a good way to do all that. Everybody stack up near this wall beside the boss to bait the biker ads. They always spawn far away from the boss, and the only thing they do is charge toward a random player. So if you're all stacked up, all the bikers end up in the same spot on the wall, making them super easy to AoE down. Dodge these
AoE down, yes. So I'm supposed to be in lunar eclipse.
Ground that show you where the bikers are gonna come through, and then kill them really quick. You don't want them to get another charge cast off and get all scattered around the room. Once they're dead, people need to jump into each bike they leave behind, aim it at the boss, and then press 1 to launch it. Each bike that hits the boss gets rid of 1 plating stack and does a bunch of boss damage too. You'll need 2 waves of biker ads to get rid of all the plating stacks, but there's a third wave you can use too if you miss a bike or something. Just try to stay stacked up near a wall and near the boss pretty much the whole phase. Other than that, there are some other regular mechanics going on too. The boss casts a tank buster called Tank Buster, which does big physical damage to the tank and knocks them back and leaves a dot on them that increases damage taken from the same cast. So the tank should taunt swap every time this happens. This cast also does a bunch of raid damage for a few seconds, which ramps up over the phase, so the later ones actually kinda hurt. A couple random players get marked for incendiary fire and drop these fire circles at their feet for a few seconds, which everyone has to avoid. A couple random players get this big purple circle on them from spew oil, which puts a dot on anyone in the circle when it expires, so they have to get out of the raid. And on heroic, the boss puts this pool of oil on the ground under itself whenever it casts the tank buster, and puts the boss puts this pool of oil on the ground under itself whenever it casts the tank buster, and puts oil under the player.
Hi, baby. Come here. What you doing? My doggy just came and opened the door. Maggie, come here, baby. Did they leave? Did they leave you all alone? Oh. Oh, old man. All right. Wait, are you guys just going to Cat and Zero's, or are you going? Well, yeah, that's what I figured. I thought that y'all was leaving a little early. Yeah, just leaving now. It'll be like a half hour. All right, cool. Oh shit. All right. Yeah. Go back a little bit.
This pool of oil on the ground under itself whenever it casts the tank buster, and puts oil under the players that get those purple circles. The oil is slippery and does damage to anyone in it, so the tanks have to keep moving the boss out of it along the wall, and the players with the circles should drop their oil toward the middle of the room so that it's out of the way. The oil also stuns.
So if I get targeted with spew oil, which is this one, I pointed in real life, but it's this thing over here.
Burns the pools away, which can be nice, and if you get the that's out of the way. The oil also stuns any bikers that go through it, which is nice, and if you get the incendiary fire circles to hit some oil, it burns the pools away, which can help to free up some space if you need it. Once the last...
Okay, so essentially, anytime that you get targeted with either spew oil or the incendiary. I always fuck up that word, incendiary. Excuse me. Anytime that you do that, you're going to want to. Oh, I'm possibly lagging. I don't know, but you're going to want to run to the center. So. Hold on. I'm about to go to this flight master really fast. And then that way. Damn, I hate that. It sucks. Whatever. Oh yeah, this thing. I forgot to start here. Undiscovered?
You carry your torch, you light the city.
Okay, so there's currently 3 delves that we can do. But I don't want to do any of them because I don't have any coffer key shards. And Shaman Mage Evoker ability to give 40% haste to everyone for 30 seconds. Oh, that's lusting. Okay. So, lusting is supposedly an ability that shaman mages and evokers get that give increased haste for 30 seconds. 40% increased haste for 30 seconds. So my haste is
May
currently
the shadows pass you by.
27%. Which increases attack speed, spellcasting speed, and energy regeneration. So I'm casting pretty quickly at this point. Supposedly my uncle's haste is about 18% at the moment, and what he has, yeah, so mastery is something that I need to get higher currently, because mastery, you're 4.4. Yeah, so I need to raise my mastery by a lot, because my mastery currently, I believe mastery equivalates to damage. I could be wrong. Yeah, I don't know what I want to do
Sacred
yet,
flame
so I'm
guide
just
your
gonna
way,
go to
friend.
Dornigal, and then we're gonna switch back to the browser. And fixing this one.
Plating stack is off the boss. It starts phase 2.
So basically, anytime that you get a dot on you, you get targeted for a dot, you're supposed to run to the center. And anytime that you're not targeted, you should be sitting along the wall, just pumping
kind of
damage.
goes AFK and starts a long.
Phase
also
2.
stuns any bikers that go through it, which is nice. And if you get the incendiary fire circles to hit some oil, it burns the pools away, which can help to free up some space if you need it. Once the last plating stack is off the boss, it starts phase 2, where it kind of goes AFK and starts a long channel to repair the plating. This takes about 45 seconds and the boss takes double damage the whole time, which is why you want to save Bloodlust. While this is going on, a bunch of these little mechanic ads spawn around the room and walk to the boss and try to cast
so it's
repair.
gonna be really important that I have Convoke on deck for
on
phase
it to
2.
speed up the channel. So ads spawn around the room and walk to the boss and try to cast repair on it to speed up the channel. So everyone needs to help interrupt and CC and cleave these things down to get as much double damage time as possible. The boss also cranks a bunch of raid damage in this phase for the healers to deal with, but once the channel is done, it's back to phase 1, rinse and repeat. And that's pretty much it. For our recaps this tier, check out the new and improved Wowhead cheat sheets.
Okay,
These
let me
things
back up just a little
While
bit.
this is going on, a bunch of these little mechanic ads spawn around the room and walk to the boss and try to cast repair on it to speed up the channel. So everyone needs to help interrupt and CC and cleave these things down to get as much double damage time as possible. The boss...
Okay. I'm gonna leave. I'm only gonna do one question at a time to my uncle because I'm not trying to fucking blow up his phone with questions right now. Should be interrupted or CC'd to avoid any casts. Right, okay. So, interrupted or CC'd, what I'm going to do now is go to YouTube. This is the wrong channel. Hello? Thank you. And then, notifications. What are these notifications? The main thing I see. I already replied to that. Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah. View your channel. Because... Videos. Casuals Guide to WoW.
Another video today. We're gonna be.
Oh, here it is. All right, cool. Read more. Remove corruption, removes curse debuffs, removes enrage effect on enemies, so that's not really going to be that useful. Entangling roots, single target root broken by damage, tethers mobs to a location and slows them. So I might be able to use Ursul's Vortex when they first run up, but that's kind of just sounds awkward. I could use Typhoon. Depending on how close I am, I might be able to use Typhoon to delay them as well, but it seems like my... Hold on, let's go to Dreamgrove. Cancel aura macros? What is this? Those are talents. Let's go to the rotation. Openers. With this one, start casting. See, this has the same thing. Not using cooldowns on pull. I am using cooldowns on pull. So this has the same exact rotation that I was using before I switched to show less. Celestial Alignment, Convoke, Huge Burst, and Opener, plus you get both Eclipse and yeah, okay. See, I don't know. Single target priority. Keep up Sunfire, refresh within Pandemic, 30% of base duration shown in the tooltip. 30% of base duration. Use Force of Nature if any of the following are true. The cooldown on Celestial Alignment is less than... What is GCD? What the fuck is GCD? GCD. What would GCD be? Starfire, Wrath, Sunfire, Moonfire. GCD. Am I tweaking? GCD. Bro, what would that be? Then a GCD. And the cooldown of Convoke the Spirits is less. I have no idea what that means. That's a Loon's Chosen. Yep, AoE. GCD. So that's... What? I don't know what that means, though. I'm just confused on that. There it is. Right there. I saw it. Warrior of Elune is an off GCD. Okay, so from what I'm gathering, GCD is just some weird abbreviation that just means either Celestial Alignment or Incarn. I don't know what the fuck it means, because I've literally never seen this shit before. GCD, I don't even know what that would be. But single target. So the cooldown... okay, so any longer than 25 seconds, we're going to use Force of Nature. Any longer... If the cooldown is less than a GCD, and the cooldown on Celestial Alignment is less than one stack. Less than one stack. So if I have one stack, at least one stack, or almost one stack, and the cooldown is longer than 25 seconds. That's what I'm gonna go with, I guess. That seems to be the right thing. Okay. Use Celestial Alignment if any of the following are true. You just used Force of Nature. The cooldown on Convoke is greater than the recharge time of your next CA. The fight will end before Force of Nature is available again. Cast 2 Starfire to enter Solar Eclipse. It is optimal to start casting Starfire when the cast time of Starfire is longer than the remaining duration of the eclipse. Yeah, that's precast. That's fine. This I'm probably gonna mess up quite a bit, but that'll be fine. If you have the Touch of the Cosmos proc, Starlord has less than 3 stats. Dude, there's some. Oh my lord! And then just spam Wrath at the end. Wrath and Star Surge. Yep, you need to move. That's a big one. Casting while moving with this class is kind of hard, but I guess it's not really that hard. It's just specific. Okay. Anyway, moving on. This is not the right video. Okay. Cool. So generally speaking, I'm gonna write this down. blank spreadsheet. Raid Guide 101. First boss, Vexy. Keynotes. Chosen for dot equals run to center. Chosen for dot equals run to center. That's fine. Chosen for biker. Well, I guess not chosen for biker, but single target spam plus break armor stacks, I guess. And then here, let me do this. First boss, Vexy, boom, boom. Move this shiza down. I just need it here. Phase 1. Chosen for dot, run to center, single target spam, break armor stacks. I'm gonna switch these two. I do want to space this out though. Chosen for dot, run to center. I'm gonna put this in parentheses over here. Hold wall position. Just some key things to try to remember for that. Phase 2. Really just stall repair bots. I'm just gonna say stall / kill repair dots. I'm just gonna say not 100% certain what utility, but quick guess Ursul's Vortex Typhoon and do I actually have Ursul's Vortex? Where is oh you can't see this. That's right. Spellbook's fine. Tangling Roots is currently not on my thingy. What is this? This is Wild Charge. So this is Wild Charge is right here. So Shift 4 can technically work for that. Coolio. Yeah, so Ursul's Vortex, I believe, is a talent. Ursul's Vortex, yep. It's right here. I currently don't have this talent. So, Ursul's Vortex is not actually an option for me. But we do have Typhoon. So, Typhoon's going to be relatively useful. What else is on here? Hold on. Yeah, I was gonna say, let me see what the fuck my actual shit is. So shift 1. Oh my lord. Okay, this is some shit right here. So Control Q and Control E are two abilities that I don't really ever use. So we're gonna use those for Is there a reason I don't have this added? Can I put this here and then put this here and then nope, I want that there. Okay, hold on. This is the only thing I want to test about this, because yeah, I was about to say, rejuvenation is cool, but rejuvenation takes me out of Moonkin form. It also, how much mana is that? Oh, that's jack shit. I have 2,000. Wait. It says K at the end. So is there 3 zeros after this? That's what that means, right? Would that say? I don't know what directly correlates to the amount of mana that I have, but I'm not really that worried about it. So, yeah, Ursul's Vortex, that's not a thing for this current build that I'm running. So, we'll switch back to this. Yeah, Tangling Roots is not on here, so we'll do that there. What was the other one? Entangling Roots. Because Entangling Roots, at the very least, will just, like, slow them down a little bit. Hopefully, it allows them to get some more damage off. But, for the most part, I'm just going to be spamming damage to try and kill shit. Yeah, so that's really it. So I don't know what crests I need currently. Am I still in this game? I am. Yeah, okay, cool. Where is the fucking... Oh shit, yeah, that's right. I can get all my shit now.
The coreway must be protected.
That's cool, yeah.
The Titans will return.
These meta quests and shit. Is this still... Complete 5 delves in Mukaz Algar?
Returning to work.
Which I would love to do, but you know, none of them...
our service to those in need.
Call the World Soul Dungeons. Yeah, give me the dungeon quest. Yeah. Give me the dungeon quest for sure, because if I get the dungeon quest,
our deeds give
then... what's the button for it? There it is. Meta quests. Profess further in the campaign to unlock the archives. Yeah, I do need to do that, actually. I'm not going to do that quite yet, but that's alright. Complete any one seasonal dungeon, which gives me a pinnacle cache. In that pinnacle cache, I will get a coffer key. With that coffer key, I can do a bountiful delve. If I do a bountiful delve with that coffer key, I'll get the extra loot, plus, we'll complete this, which is also a pinnacle cache, which will be our second thingy, whatever the fuck it's called. Why can't I think of it? Coffer key. And then we can do... I don't know. We might just stockpile after that, because I actually don't even know if I'm going to play that much. Especially because we have raid tonight, and it's already 7 o'clock. So I already kind of burned through my shit here. That's okay, though. We're gonna go back to browser, because we're going to go back to this so that we can watch the video on the next boss. We're gonna read this first. Fight style, 2 targets. Split raid into 2 teams. Less timer pull. Okay. So there's gonna be something called a Flarendo and something called a Torque. Alright, let's...
Hey, we pulling?
Hey, I'm Zax, brought to you by Wowhead and their Alright, so Cauldron is a 2-boss fight, where you split the bosses up and fight them on opposite sides of the room most of the time.
Oh,
There's only
okay,
one
that makes
phase,
sense.
it's almost entirely single target, and you want a Bloodlust on pull. Before pulling, split your raid evenly between the 2 bosses, because you eventually want to kill the bosses around the same time, because when one dies, the other one starts a ramping in rage. Once you
Right.
pull, the bosses have to be kept over 40 yards apart from each other, because they go immune if they're too close together, and everyone should stay over 60 yards away from the opposite boss, because they both pulse stacks of their own dot on players in range, and you definitely don't want to be stacking up both dots. On the left side of the room, you've got Florendo, the big T-Rex. When he puts
Okay.
this big bomb on the ground near a random player,
It
everyone
sounds
on
like
that
this isn't
side
really
needs to stand in
hard,
its
it's just
circle when it's exploding
complex.
in order to reduce the amount of raid-wide damage it does. On Heroic, the bomb also leaves a big pool of fire on the ground forever, so everyone should stay grouped up near the wall to bait the spawn of the bomb so you don't fill up that whole side of the room too fast. And also dodge the little waves that come from where the bomb was. When the boss starts aiming this beam at a random player, that player needs to point the beam away from the other boss's side of the room so they don't have to deal with it, and then everyone needs to dodge the beam. When the boss casts Eruption Stomp, the tank should use a defensive, because it does a lot of damage and knocks them up into the air, and everyone else should dodge the lava waves that come from where the tank was. And on Heroic, everyone should spread out after each bomb soak, because you all get this fire circle around you that pulses AoE damage for a few seconds. Just try to stay toward the wall during this to bait the next bomb spawn. On the right side of the room, you've got Torque, the big gorilla. Everyone on this side gets this resource bar that goes up when you move around and goes down when you stand still, and if you fill the bar all the way up, you get stunned for a few seconds. So you just have to try to limit your movement a little bit on this side.
Yeah.
When everyone gets
This
these
sounds
marks
like
on their
a
head, you all
shit
have to
ton to
dodge the
manage.
circles
This
that
is
get
gonna be
spam
really
dropped at your
interesting.
feet for a few seconds, which forces you to fill up your movement bar a little bit, but you can stutter step around to keep it from filling too much. When the boss casts Lightning Bash, the tank should use a defensive because it just does a lot of damage to them. And on Heroic, when these voltaic image ads spawn and fixate random players and run toward them, everyone should avoid coming into contact with them because they explode in 10 yards and leave lightning on the ground if you do. And everyone should help CC them to keep them from running around until they expire after a few seconds and just despawn. So that's it for the mechanics of each side, but finally, every time the bosses reach full energy, they both charge to the middle of the room and clash with each other for 20 seconds. They're not immune during this, and none of their usual mechanics are going on, but they crank a ton of raid damage and spawn a bunch of circles and waves to dodge. So everyone on both sides should come toward the middle to be in range of all the healers. And then when the clash is over and the bosses slide back to their sides, everyone needs to switch to the opposite boss than the one they were just on and move over to it. This resets that dot
shit.
from the previous boss that's been stacking up on you. And then it's rinse and repeat, and that's pretty much it. For our recaps this
see.
tier, check out the new and improved Wowhead.
Okay, so we got the general consensus down for this, right? What the fuck are their names? It's like Florendo. It's T something. What the fuck's his name? Torque. Torque. Okay, so there's really only one phase for this, but there's just gonna be a lot of notes. Florendo. Okay, hold on, wait. Positioning. Stay near Positioning, stay far away from the other boss as possible. Then Florendo. So this is what he was saying. He was saying something about this in this
Cheat
video.
sheets. A quick and easy way to get all of it's almost entirely single target, and you want a bloodlust on pull. Before pulling, split your raid evenly between the two bosses, because you eventually want to kill the bosses around the same time, because when one dies, the other one starts a ramping in rage. Once you pull, the bosses have to be kept over 40 yards apart from each other because they go immune if they're too close together, and everyone should stay over 60 yards away from the opposite boss because they both pull stacks of their own dot on players in range, and you definitely don't want to be stacking up both dots. On the left side of the room, you've got Florendo, the big T-Rex.
Right.
When he puts this big bomb on the ground near a random player, everyone on that side needs to stand in its circle when it's exploding in order to reduce the amount of raid.
Stand in scrap bomb during timer. Okay. One player is marked with a laser, baited away from the bomb. Once the laser position is locked, the player should dodge back. Okay. If laser target, I'll say targeted. If laser targeted, try to avoid other boss. During lock. Try to avoid other boss during lock. And yeah, that's kind of just it. Just try to avoid the other boss during the lock. This is tank specific. Russian Stomp deals high magic damage to the tank. Heroic, spread out molten phlegm circles when active. Okay, yeah, so that's pretty much it. Okay, so torque. Don't move too often. Dot spell. Or I guess it's not really dot. Don't move too often. Debuff? Keep track of static bar. Alright. Stutter step. Projectile. Spam to avoid stun. Colossal. Okay. Phase 2. Phase 2. Bro, what is this dude barking at? This dude is literally just barking. There's nobody here right now. Can you hear this old ass motherfucker? Hold on. Let me see what he's barking at right now. Cause there's nobody in the house and he's been barking nonstop for like the last like 15 minutes. Come back. Competitors battle core. It's a waste. It's loot drops. Okay. I'm not even gonna make another thing for this actually. During Colossal, whatever the fuck it's called, Clash. During Colossal Clash, avoid it. What? AoE, I guess. I don't know. Raid guide for casuals. That's what I'm gonna say. And then I'm gonna space all this shit out a little bit more, a little bit better. Second ball, yeah, because I spaced it there. Third boss. I'm only gonna do this until my food gets here, because then I'm getting off stream, because I really want to just like completely chill out until this raid. Okay. Rick Reverb. Single target with burst AoE. That's heroic only. Key assignments, amplifier drain. Okay, so key assignments split right into two groups. Key assignments, motorcycle gang. Okay, I'm starting to understand this. Key assignments, amplifier drainers. Amplifier calls down amplifiers on the boss's location and at a player's location. Gains energy over time. The gain is increased if the boss is within 15 yards. Players drain energy by clicking the amplifier to channel on it. Leave the radius of the circle to stop channeling. At full energy, the amplifier deals lethal damage to the raid. Heroic stacks a dot on you as you channel. Okay, so most likely there's going to be a dot on us, because I think we're doing this at heroic. I'm not really sure. I honestly have no idea like what we're doing this as. But yeah. So we're going to lust on pool. That's not really for me. That'll just, the only thing this really tells me, the only thing the lust timer really tells me about is when my damage is going to be spiking, because my damage is going to spike whenever we lust, and So like for Vexy here, the lust timer's on phase 2. When we hit phase 2, my damage is going to spike. I want my damage to spike when I still have Convoke. So I think for this fight specifically, I'm going to change and do the normal rotate, or the rotation that's actually on screen right now. And then, what's it called? And then after that, I will, what's it called? What am I trying to say here? Think, Tug. Think. Yeah. I just want Convoke for phase 2 because during phase 2, I'll have all the shit. And if I, yeah, okay. I'm not going to over-explain myself there. That's all I'm going to say. Lust timer pull, my damage is going to be highest at the initial point, and then whenever that cooldown resets. With it being a 30-second buff, my guess would be that it's, I don't know, like 40 minute, like somewhere between like 45 seconds and a minute and a half. Lust cooldown. Wow. I didn't mean to open this in a new tab. Bloodluster Heroism is 5 minutes. Oh, well, 40 seconds. So realistically, you're only going to get 1 lust per fight. So yeah, so this lust timer is going to just basically tell me when my damage is going to spike and when it's going to be normal. Because it should never really be, like, lower. It will be a couple of times depending on what I'm dealing with, but... Okay, amplifier. Oh my god, bro. I wonder if my parents... So I got an Amazon package today. I wonder if my parents brought it inside. I honestly haven't checked. Because it wasn't here when I got here, but I got the email that it showed up, so... Oh my lord. Okay, hold on. Oh, my Lord. So we think that my dogs have separation anxiety, which is why that they basically just constantly bark. Okay, where was I? Yes, amplifiers. Okay, so third boss, Rick. Phase 1. Channel on. Wait, hold on. Phase 1. Channel on amplifiers. I'm gonna put this in parentheses here. Channel and amplifiers. Careful of dot. Alrighty. The rest of this is gonna come from this video.
Hey, we pulling?
Hey, I'm Zax, and here's our... So Rick Reverb has 2 alternating phases. The fight is entirely single target on normal, but heroic has a little bit of AoE, and you'll want to bloodlust on pull. In phase 1, the boss spawns these amplifiers on the ground over time, which slowly gain energy, and if they hit full energy, they start doing crazy raid damage. And the main goal of the phase is to prevent these things from ever reaching full energy by draining them every once in a while. So here's how that should go. Tank the boss where he spawns and have the ranged group together about 20 yards away from him toward the middle of the room. The amplifiers spawn under the boss and near a random ranged player. So the ranged things stacked together not too far from the boss helps to keep all the amplifiers closer together and in predictable spots, which is helpful.
So, you guys know what that means? Why did this do twice? What the fuck? Positioning. Positioning. Tanks on boss. Ranged. Stacked. Ranged stacks. I'm just going to say positioning range stacks. And then wherever everybody else is going is where I'm just going to follow.
For later. When the boss casts amplification to spawn the amps, everyone should avoid the circle on the ground where they spawn, and the tank should instantly move the boss about 20 yards away from them, because he gives extra energy to any that are too close to him. When one of the amplifiers starts getting close to full after about 25 seconds, an assigned player should run over to the amplifier and right click it to start draining it. This does big dot damage to the player, so they're going to need some extra healing, but they can still cast and everything while the drain is happening, and if they get too low on health, they can just move out of the circle they see around the amplifier and the drain will stop. You end up with 5 amplifiers by the time phase 2 happens, and on normal you only need like 1 or 2 ranged players to handle draining them all, but on heroic, draining an amplifier gives you stacks of a debuff that makes you take way more damage from draining for a while. This means you either have to rotate a bunch of players to be drainers, or what we recommend, which may be a little controversial, is to just 3 tank the fight and have the 3rd tank run around draining the amplifiers the whole phase. That tank is going to take a lot of damage from draining with the debuff, but this strategy is legit 10 times easier than the
I'm going to assume the worst, basically, and I'm just gonna leave this note here.
the alternative. That's all for the amplifiers, but there are a few regular mechanics going on too. Everyone but the tank has to stay out of the front of the boss because his melee swings do a little frontal. This frontal also puts stacks of a debuff on anyone it hits that drastically increases damage taken. So the tanks should taunt swap on the boss at as low stacks as possible, usually around 4 or 5 stacks. When the boss casts Echoing Chant, it makes all the amplifiers shoot these circles out in all directions for a few seconds, which everyone has to dodge because they do crazy.
Okay. That'll be the next thing. Echoing Chant spawn. Spawns orb. I'm just gonna say spawns orbs on amplifier. Avoid.
Dot damage. When the boss casts Sound Cannon, it marks a random player with a beam and then fires a blast at them a couple seconds later. This player should mostly just stand still so everyone else can easily dodge the blast. When a few random players get these blue circles around them, they should spread out and everyone should stay out of other people's circles because they pulse AoE damage in the circle. Also, if you have the blue circle on you, don't drain an amplifier because the circle makes you take increased nature damage too. And on heroic, when
I'll leave that as a target. If targeted. What is this? What was this?
don't drain circles because they pulse AoE damage. Circles around them, they should spread out and everyone can easily dodge the blast. When a few random players get these blue circles around them, they should spread out and everyone should stay out of other people's circles because they spawn around the boss. Everyone.
I'm gonna assume they're home. If targeted with circle, I'm just gonna say circle, I guess. If targeted with circle, avoid amplifier. Trying to keep this as simple as possible.
Everyone needs to help kill them before they explode on the raid after 15 seconds. If even one of them goes off, it's probably a wipe, so this is super high priority. Plus, you even get a haste buff for doing this. Every you take increased nature damage too. And on heroic, when these little barrels spawn around the boss, everyone needs to help kill them before they explode on the raid after 15 seconds. If even one of them goes off, it's probably a wipe, so this is.
Yes, my family is home. Okay. Kill barrels when they spawn.
Super high priority. Plus, you even get a haste buff for doing damage to them. Once the boss reaches full energy, he starts phase 2, where he goes immune and starts casting Blaring Drop, which spawns this expanding ring under him that basically one-shots anyone it hits. And the only way to survive this ring is to find the random amplifier that has this blue circle around it and run into the circle before the ring gets to it, because everyone in the circle automatically gets knocked up in the air when the ring gets close, which lets you avoid the ring entirely.
Avoid death ring with amplifier.
Entirely. Then you have to do this a few more times back to back until the boss goes back to phase 1. This is why you want to spawn all the amplifiers kind of close together in phase 1, because you don't have a lot of time to run to each amplifier before each ring comes through. And it's not in a journal, but in testing, all the amplifiers were spamming those circles all of phase 2, so you have to dodge a ton of those while all this is going on too. When you get back to phase 1,
careful of orbs on amp. I'm just gonna start saying amps, bro. Fuck typing out amplifiers.
there will be one amplifier left over that didn't get destroyed in phase 2, so put the boss about 20 yards away from it and then rinse and repeat. If you get all the way to a third phase 2, the boss enrages and doesn't go immune this time, and he spam casts the ring for the rest of the fight. So once you run out of amplifiers, it's GG. And that's pretty much it. For our recaps this
Cool. Okay. Avoid death ring with amplifier. Careful of orbs on amps. Kill barrels when they spawn. If targeted with a circle, avoid amplifier. Enchanting, echoing chant, spawns orbs on amplifiers, channel on amplifiers. I'm just gonna say, I'm actually gonna change this to drain amplifiers. I think this fight is probably, like, because it's got the most shit going on so far, I feel like this fight sounds the simplest, but this fight's probably going to be, like, the simplest to keep track of are usually the hardest. Like, this one, this is so much shit to, like, think about at once. Oh, shit, hold on. Yeah, I actually am gonna... Hold on. During Colossal Clash, avoid AoE. Yeah, I'm gonna make this a separate thing, actually, I think. What the fuck? Oh, what is happening? There we go. Okay. Colossal Clash. Avoid AoE. Because there's a lot. During. Avoid AoE. Post. Switch bosses. Switch. I'm just gonna say switch boss target. All right, I got 3 bosses down. It's been an hour and a half of me literally just doing homework. So yeah. All right. This is what I'm currently working with. We're gonna go with 15 times Roman. Where is it? Fuck. Hello? Well, I was gonna increase the spacing, but whatever. Alrighty. Yeah, so this is all the homework I'm gonna do for now. My food's here, and I'm tired, so I'm gonna get off of here. I will be back in a few hours for raid night so that we can see how this goes. And yeah. I don't know if it will be or not, but this will probably end up being a video if I do end up streaming this whole raid. So, casual's guide to raid coming soon, question mark? Anyway, yeah, I'll see you guys later.